Welcome to Cuckoo Clock Yoga. We're going to try again tonight. We tried last night, it didn't work. After this, we're going to see some bloopers. So if you hang on to the very end, you'll see bloopers of what...
There's nothing to see. Last night we tried to do this.
Today we're going to be working
and
on
I
legs.
was yawning a lot. And then we started doing a breathing exercise and I might have fallen asleep.
What can I say?
So we stopped the yoga and I went to bed.
So tonight is going to be legs. First of all, we're going to warm up a little bit. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, just bring your hands down. Again, nice deep inhale. Fill your belly, your ribs. Exhale, hands down. And do it again. And as we spin our hands up, we're going to turn, quarter turn to the left. Hands come down, come back to the middle. And quarter turn to the right. Exhale, from the middle. One more time each side. Inhale. Let's loosen up the backs of our legs. Bend your knees, put your hands on your shins. Straighten your legs, flatten your back. And put a micro bend back into the back of your knees and slowly slide your hands down your shins. Come to a point where you feel a stretch. And then if it's comfortable for you to do so, sag down into ragdoll. Open up your back. Release your hands. If your hands come down to the floor, you might want to just cross your elbows and let gravity keep on pulling you down. Keep that micro bend in the back of your knees so you don't strain them. We want to open up our back and our hamstrings and not stress anything yet. And inhale, keeping your knees slightly bent, unroll nice and slowly up to the top. Reach up one last time for the warm up. Exhale your hands down. We'll come to triangle on the left hand side. The left foot comes forward, right foot comes back and behind, so your heels are in line. Inhale, raise your arms. Exhale, soften the left knee. Lift the heel off the floor. So you tilt down like a windmill. And then open up to the side. And only when you're open and ready, then you slowly straighten that left leg, bringing the heel back down towards the floor. Don't forget, it's not interesting how close your hand gets down to the ground, but that you stay nice and open and feel a stretch down the whole side of your body. Both legs, both hips. As things open up, feel free to come down lower, but don't lean the right shoulder down towards the floor. Keep your shoulders stacked one on top of the other. Exhale, look down, soften your knees, come up, step to the front. Opposite side, bring the left foot back, it sweeps in behind the right foot. I'm not taking a very wide stance, Nick is taking a slightly wider one. It's up to you, depends on what's comfortable. Inhale, raise your arms, lift the right heel, and tilt down. Both legs would like to be straight without being locked. Thigh muscles are engaged, lifting both kneecaps gently. Keep opening to the side. Make sure there's full pressure on the soles of both feet. Don't roll in or out. Lots of space between crown of head and tailbone. As things open, you can slide down farther. Probably find one side is tenser than the other. Right-handed people, that tends to be the right side. Exhale, look down. Inhale, come up. Step to the front. Shake it out. We'll do a rotated triangle. We don't do that very often. We'll do that today. Left foot draws back. Same thing, just a walking pace. But this time, don't drift it in behind the right. Leave it hip width apart from the left. Sorry, left hip width apart from the right. Inhale, raise the left arm. Lean forward, soften the right knee. Bring the left hand down inside of the foot, on the shin, outside of the foot. Wherever it works for you, pull the right hip back. Turn to the right side. Your right arm, if it's more comfortable, can just rest on the hip or can stretch up for the ceiling as you keep on turning towards the side of the room. Balance is tough. Take your time. And going for opening and lengthening between crown of head, tailbone, between right hand and left. Keep pulling that right hip back. Exhale, look down. Soften the front knee. Come up. Step to the front. Pull the right foot back, keeping your hip width away from the left. Right arm up, soften the left knee, lean forward. Hand comes down, open up to the left. Same time, pull the left hip back. Your front leg wants to be straight but not locked. Again, keeping the thigh muscle engaged. Exhale, release, look down. Come up. Step to the front. The rotated versions of all the poses are always tricky for balance and also harder to get into. So if ever we're doing them and you don't want to, just repeat the non-rotated version. That's perfectly fine. You will get there. Extended triangle, right foot comes back. Take a very long step. Bend the left knee, left arm crosses the thigh. Turn to the side, right arm comes overhead. Options are for the left hand to come all the way down on top of the left foot. But if that means that you just are leaning down and looking at the floor, don't do that. You want to really stay open to the side of the room. Exhale, release, look down. Inhale, come up. Step to the front. Other side. Left foot comes back. Right arm comes across thigh, open to the side. And if you want to try, you can bring the right hand down on top of the right foot, but then open again to the side of the room. So trying to stack your shoulders one on top of the other. Exhale, release. Inhale, come up. Step to the front. Now we can do the rotated version of that, or you can just repeat what we've just done. Or do the second version where the hand comes down to the floor. It's up to you. For the rotated version, again, the right foot's going to come back and it's not going to drift in. It also has to stay hip width away from the left. We're going to do this on our toes on the right side. Bend the left leg. Keep the right one straight. right arm now crosses the left thigh. Make a pancake with your hands and try to turn your torso so your thumbs eventually touch the middle of your collarbone. Think about the right leg now for a moment. Straighten it. Think about the left hip. Pull it back. Drop the hips some. And let's release. Step to the front, as much grace as you could muster, which is sometimes not a lot. Step back with the left foot. Come up onto the toes. Left arm crosses the right thigh. Make pancakes out of your hands. Turn to face the left. Sorry, to turn to the right. You're alternating sides, giving instructions, and you're in a twist. It's kind of hard to remember what's left and what's right. Lengthen the left leg, drop the hips, raise the torso. Exhale. And come up. Shake it out. So we've done some warming up for our legs. So a little bit of a leg exercise. It's called the frog. So bring your feet into frog position so that they're a little bit more hip width and sticking out like duck feet. And then we're going to bend our knees, bring our fingertips to the floor. Inhale, straighten your legs as far as they will go comfortably. And exhale, squat all the way down. Inhale up. Exhale down. Up. So your fingertips never leave the floor. So we're getting a little bit of a stretch in our hamstrings, as well as some exercise in our thighs. Going from deep squat to forward bend. Do your creaking in your knees, a little bit of cartilage sounds, that's okay. Couple more. And then let's come to a forward bend. Bring your feet so they're more parallel. If you can, your fingertips stay on the floor. If not, slide your hands up at your shins. Wherever they are, lengthen the space between crown of head and tailbone. Remember, forward bend, the goal is to lay your stomach on your thighs so that you close the fold and stretch the hamstrings. How low to the floor you get, again, is not very interesting. You want to get a stretch in the right place. All right, let's just bend our knees, come down to the ground. Turn to the side of the room. Spread your feet wide. And it may be a little bit more comfortable to either tip the feet out, or you can keep the feet vertical. Now lean forward. If you're moving forward, so if your shoulders make it past your hips such that gravity can hold you there, and you don't have to squeeze the core. You may not come all the way down to the ground, but you don't want to be uncomfortably tensing up in the core and in the thighs to keep yourself here. And sitting vertically, well, you'll get a little bit of a stretch, not much. You can put your hands behind and push yourself forward, but after a while it becomes tiresome. Better, I find, is to bend the knees, lift them up, and then lean forwards. And then as things loosen, then you can slowly straighten the legs. But there's a couple of things going on in this pose. One is tightness of the hamstrings. The other one is tightness inside the hip itself. And for some people, the tightness inside the hip is anatomical. It's not something that's going to go away. So you may have been in a yoga class where there's some flexible person who grabs toes and plants face straight down on the floor, and you wonder, why can't I be like that? Well, it may be that your body just won't allow you to do that. Doesn't mean we don't sit here and work at the pose and loosen and open up, but at some point you might come to where you just feel a clicking and you're just not going to go any farther. That's it. I've done this pose now for about 15 years. When I started, I was here. Now I'm leaning forward, and I doubt I'm going to get down to the floor before my time is up.
When I was 6, I used to do this and be flat on the ground.
Yup.
My sister would show me off to all her friends.
It's called aging.
Yeah.
When you were 6, your joints were not fully formed.
Mm-hmm. That was your party trick.
Inhale, come up, put your hands underneath your knees, lift them up, bring your feet together, and come back onto your mat. Pull the right foot behind and sit just like this. So this might be uncomfortable for the ankle, it might be uncomfortable for the hip. If it's uncomfortable for the hip, raise the left hip by putting something under it. If it's uncomfortable for the ankle, it might help to roll up something and put it underneath the shin. We do want to stretch the ankle, we want to wake it up, we want to wake up the knee. We're sitting a little bit crooked here, but that's fine. There's nothing that can be done about that. So we sit straight. And if this is now doable, if you're okay on this side, then you can lean forward and grab onto the left big toe or the shin. And if you're very flexible, you can lean down and plant your chin on top of your shin too. I'm not there yet, although I've seen that too. If you're in this position and you find yourself you're falling over to the left because the right knee, the right hip is so very tight, you have a couple of options. One is to move your knees farther apart. The other option is to use the left hand as a balance and reach forward with the right. This makes the stretch a little bit easier because now it's the right side down to the left. If you reach with the left foot, you tend to get more of a stretch down the left side of the body. Inhale, come up. Lean over to the long leg side, grab hold of the right ankle and undo it and roll it out. Do the same on the left side, grab the ankle, pull it back. And first of all, just check in with yourself. How are you here? Does this work? Yeah, you're sitting kind of funny, kind of crooked. But is the ankle okay? Is the knee okay? If not, again, move the knee out. Some to the side, pull the ankle in, or just shift it around, put something underneath body parts that need it in order to support yourself. And then if that's working okay, reach forward either with the right or the left hand and grab the right big toe, the right shin, the end of your pants, whatever you want. This is the pose I remember in yoga teacher training. Our teacher, Basha, would always ask us, what's this pose called? It's one of the longest name poses in Sanskrit. Do you remember? I did this to you guys too down in
I do not
Jay's basement.
remember.
Tiryam Mukha Kaparasana. No, Tiryam Ika. Oh, dang.
Uh-oh.
Tiryam Ika Kapa. Okay, I'm going to look that up. That's embarrassing.
Oh, yes, that's embarrassing.
Tiryan Mukha Eka Padasana. Yes, Tiryan Mukha Eka Padasana. Tiryan triangle, Mukha face, Eka one, Padasana, toe hold, foot pose. If you remember that way it works. Lean over to your right side, extend the left leg, but I will have to look it up. Just to make sure.
He will. He will.
Of course I will.
And one of his myriad dictionaries.
Let's do boat pose. Lean back. Bend
That's
your
punishment,
knees.
by the way, for me for being snarky.
It is, absolutely. Boat pose is always punishment. Raise your hands up off the floor. Flatten your back. Try to sit up nice and tall, although you're leaning back. And then take your heels off the floor. Your shins come parallel to the floor. This is one boat. The other one is with the legs straight. Legs straight puts a little bit more strain onto the lower back. It also is a lot easier if your hamstrings are flexible enough that you can be more of a V. If you're like a really open V, it's a very difficult boat pose. In that case, bend your knees. And across our ankles, sit for a moment. We always do 3 boats. Lean back. Boat pose number 2. Cross your ankles the other way. Sit up. Boat pose number 3. Is that punishment enough?
Mm-hmm.
Cross your ankles. Roll over, come to your belly for Sphinx. Sphinx, we're on our elbows, forearms are long on the floor, looking forward, looking down our nose somewhere near the tips of our fingers. Relax the lower back, relax the breath, relax your legs, and then slowly pull your rib cage forward. Same time you lift your collarbones, lift your gaze slightly. Getting traction in the lower back and the mid back and a bend. I promised some legs. We're going to continue doing the legs, but we're going to stay in this posture. Left arm is going to cross the front part of the body. Roll over onto your left so that you can reach back with your right and grab your right ankle. And then come back to a modified Sphinx. The left arm is crossing underneath your body and you're holding onto your right ankle. This might be enough. So just hang out here. If you want a little bit more, you can grab your foot and push the heel down toward your hip. When you release, don't let it snap. Just let it go back. Come to standard Sphinx for a moment. Relax, release the lower back. Right arm crosses. Roll over into your side so you can grab. Oh, then you can just bend your knee. I tend to cramp up on my hamstring if I try it that way. Turn your hand so the heel of your palm is on your toes, fingers facing down towards your ankle. Release. Now we're going to make a pillow out of our hands, put our chin on it, roll our hips side to side. And then we're going to do both legs at the same time. This is optional. You can repeat what we've just done or reach around, grab one ankle, grab the other ankle, And if you can, do grab the ankle, so the end of the shin. Try not to grab your feet. Bring your knees together. Lift your shoulders, lift your knees off the floor. And if you flex your feet, you get more of a stretch in your shoulders. And then push your heels up towards the ceiling. And release. Don't let your feet snap. Put one of your hands, put your chin on it, roll your hips side to side. Let's come to seated. We'll do a forward bend. But a very gentle one. So start with your knees bent as you need, so that you can lie right down on your thighs. Put your knees into your armpits. Reach down, grab the outer edge of your feet, relax your head. Keeping your knees in your armpits, walk one heel out, then the other one. Keep on going, your knees remain in your armpits, and see how low you end up. You want to get a stretch of the lower back. Now start feeling a stretch in your hamstrings as well. Mm-hmm. Don't let your knees get out of your armpits. Don't let your head come up. We're just relaxing the top part of the body. Release. Inhale, come up. Give yourself a gentle twist. Just cross your knees. Right hand on left knee. Turn to the side. Come to the front. Switch your shins. Left hand on right knee. Turn to the side. Back to the front, extend your legs, and let's roll down to the ground as slowly as we can. Arms stay parallel with the shins, collapse through your core, keep your chin tucked in. Take your time, make sure your heels stay on the floor, legs stay long and straight, nice and gentle. Turn the palms up and come to Shavasana. through your ankles and your wrists. And inhale, interlace your fingers, reach overhead. Give yourself a big stretch. Tuck in your knees. Round your back. You roll side to side, rock up and down a little bit if you like. Then come to lying on your right hand side. Push your way up to seated. Sit nice and tall but without strain. Balance your head over your shoulders. Stretch the crown of your head up to the ceiling. Flatten out the natural S-curves of your back and then settle back down into them. Release your hips so you're not straining your knees upwards. Bring your hands together. Namaste. Thank you very much. It's a windy day today. Very windy. And don't forget to hang on a little bit later with some bloopers.
No, there are no bloopers.
Well, I told them that there are, so there have to be.
You can't. What are you going to do? Just show me yawning?
Well, it's a
No,
blooper.
there are no bloopers.
Oh, yes, there are. Welcome to Cuckoo Clock Yoga. We're going to have a vigorous workout today. We're going to do a lot of moving poses. No, what are you?
What are we doing tonight?
Standing poses.
I like sleeping poses myself.